Why the hell not? That is my mantra for the summer of 2024. Welcome to the Geezerproofer. I am Nancy A. Shenker, and I am the Geezerproofer. A geezer is somebody who is stuck in his or her ways, resists change, thinks old school, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Whereas a beezer is somebody who be in the moment, be relevant, be active, and you could be a geezer or a beezer at any age. So I have declared the summer of 2024 the hot woman summer. What does that really mean? It means that I'm going to live my best life. This is the first summer, probably in my entire life, when I don't have to really care for anybody other than myself. I love my family. I love my kids. I love my grandkids. I love my job, which is, for those of you who don't know, writing a regular column for a business magazine, an online business magazine, and planning their conference in November. But I have other passion projects, and the Geezerproofer podcast is one of those projects, along with a travel website called Bleisure Living, leisure with a B, about combining work and play when you're on the road. So that basically is why this summer I started out by booking a one-way ticket on June 7th from Arizona to Boston, and I spent almost 30 days on the road. And it's the first time in my life I've ever done something like that. I didn't take a gap year after college. I never did the cross-country trip when I was younger. I went straight to work when I graduated college. So this is my time. And given that people of my generation are going to live on average until their 80s, and my number happens to be 120, I have a lot of years left to explore and to have experiences and to be energized. So I have a few notes. My index card actually matches my dress, which was not really deliberate. It just happened to be the first one that I picked up. But I visited 6 states and at least 100 cities and towns over a course of around 35 days. I traveled thousands of miles. I'm sure Google will tell me exactly where I went and what I did and what I ate. And I met thousands of people. And how did I do that? I happened to go to the Fancy Food Show in New York, where founders were showing their wares of the latest food products. I spoke to people in restaurants and bars. And most importantly, I caught up with old friends and family members along the road, which was a really, really exciting and interesting thing to do. And one of those things that you have to do while you still have the time and the energy and the interest. So, and on the road, I actually had 2 dates. I changed my location from Arizona to the places that I was in. Neither of them was a love match, but like all my dating adventures, I do come away with a lesson or 2 learned. And I'm going to tell you in a little while about where you could read more of my adventures in the bizarro dating space. So what are my 5 pieces of advice for you as you craft your own hot person summer? Number 1 is to be open. And by that, I mean, be open to adventures, be open to experiences. Again, coming back to the why the hell not. Someone asks you to do something or go somewhere that's not dangerous. Ask yourself, why the hell not? Because we can all come up with a million reasons not to do something, but it's by doing those new things we grow, we learn, we expand, we get new perspectives. Number 2 is be positive. And that's something that I struggle with. In fact, my younger daughter tells me all the time that I tend to look at the lemons rather than the lemonade. That's my expression, not hers. But I've been working really, really, really hard at trying to look at the bright side of life, the bright side of experiences, wherever I go and whatever I do. Number 3 is really critical, especially during the summer when we may have some free time, is never stop learning. I recently started reading voraciously again. It's a good word, voraciously, which basically means that I always have a book on my night table. Instead of trolling through messages or social media, I pick up my book, and I'm old school that way. I like books with pages that turn, although I do have a Kindle and I have Audible, and I listen to all of them depending on what my mood happens to be. I also see movies. I watch documentaries. So keep that brain working, keep those brain cells active, because if you do, like me, want to live to be close to 100 and have an active, engaged, vibrant life, you always have to keep those brain cells flexing and learning new things. Number 4 is value your time and your energy. As you travel around, as you meet new people, as you have new experiences, you're going to find that not everything is your jam. So you need to learn how to walk away gracefully and kindly, but to have respect for your time and energy. It also relates to the people in your life. I am often surrounded by people who I would categorize as energy vampires. They like my spirit, they like my sense of humor, they like my adventures, and so they like hanging around with me so they could feed off of that vibe. But upon reflection, I may not be getting anything in return, and especially the negative Nellies will drag me down. So I've learned how to be very judicious with my own time, my own energy, and my heart and my soul, because there's not enough of it to go around to everybody in the world. And I think you could be a giver. I think you could be inspiring without having to be on call 24/7 for everybody in your life. And last but not least, create a combination of what I call planning and spontaneity. The last book that I wrote is called Manifestation for Skeptics, and I'm a big believer in that combination of woo-woo and pragmatism, which means that you have to have a plan, you have to have goals, you have to have things that you're setting out to do, but the universe will sometimes kick you really hard in the ass or in the head, and you just have to learn how to flex, recover, bounce back, and say, okay, this thing happened, which got in the way of my plan. So what am I going to do as my fallback or plan B? And embrace the moment. Again, looking for those positive moments of everything that goes on in your life. So I'm heading off for an adventure on Sunday. By the time you listen to this, it probably will have passed, and you can listen to the episode that encapsulates what happened. But I am going to Des Moines, Iowa, to hang out with the woman who handles my social media, Kelly, and she and I have vibed over the fact that we are both true crime listeners and readers. We have other similarities. So she's been a guest on my podcast. So continue to listen in to hear about my adventures in Iowa if you haven't already listened to that episode. And how can you find me? As I said earlier in one of my podcasts, I do have a day job. I'm not a full-time podcaster. I write a regular column for an online business publication called Street Fight, about the fight for consumer spending and attention as businesses all vie for their share of wallet on the small screen. But you can read and hear more about what I do through my Instagram, which is The On Switch, TheOnSwitch. And I have something on my Instagram called Linktree, which basically functions as a table of contents of everything that I do. So I would really appreciate it if you like my stuff and you want more of it, or you want to hear different perspectives. That is the place to find me. I also have this column that I mentioned on Substack about dating after 50. The link to that is also on my Linktree. I write a blog called Bad Girl, Good Business, which is about my adventures in aging. Again, it's all on Linktree. Leisure Living, which I mentioned, the combination of business travel and leisure travel. And if you happen to work in the hospitality industry and you have a story that you would like me to tell, please reach out. You can find me at thegeezerproofer@gmail.com or just PM me on one of my social media sites. And last but not least, I mentioned my book, Manifestation for Skeptics. You can find it on Amazon along with the other 8 books that I've written. And above all, as you enjoy your own summer of hot woman, hot man, hot person, or whoever you want to be this summer, try to be a beezer and not a geezer, and enjoy the summer of 2024. Peace out.